episode 8 of Anime and Other. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from, well, anime movies. Sometimes. I don't know. I screwed it up. It doesn't matter.
We're going with it. Because if not, we're going to be here for 20 minutes doing it over and over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Episode 8, though.
It is episode 8, yes.
Alright, so we are doing Lupin the Third, the Fuma Conspiracy.
Even you just did it.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, Lupin is referred to as Rupin with an R throughout the movie. And when the movie was released in North America, it was released as Lupin the Third.
Yeah, I don't know why.
The only thing I can think of at first, like when I was watching the movie, I was thinking, oh, that's funny, Lupin. They don't pronounce their R's properly, so sometimes it comes through as L. Or their L's probably, so sometimes the L's come through as R's. If you ever listen to a Japanese person that speaks speak English, a lot of their L's sound like R's. So at first I was like, that's maybe the voice actor was Japanese.
But everybody.
Yeah, everyone called him Lupin. Maybe it's a racist thing. I have no idea. I don't think so.
Alright, because there's a guy with buck teeth that looks like a classic...
That being said, that's a Chinese thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So, the buck teeth, it's a bit... I mean, I'm not saying Japan doesn't have buck teeth, people in Japan, but it's more the stereotype is more Chinese.
I for some reason, I'm thinking it was Japanese.
I mean, it is, but I would say of all the Asian countries, it's way more Chinese. But whatever. It was kind of funny and kind of racist at the same time. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was like if this was a Japanese country because the movie takes place in Japan.
Yeah. Anyway, so the movie came out in 87 of December.
Yes.
73 minutes. Japanese.
Yeah, obviously.
So apparently the Japanese voice actors for something Yamada. That's the detective, right? And then
Zenyatta.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Lupin. I was reading the actors. Yeah. So the character, the Japanese voice actor that does Lupin and the Japanese voice actor that does Jigen, they were both replaced. So the movie did not do very well in Japan, but it is the most well-received movie in America of the Lupin movies. So that's kind of funny that it flipped.
Yeah, I mean, the voice cast is... Well, Lupin did sound the same, and so did Jigen for the American cast. So do you think they just...
For me, he sounded very different. I didn't notice Jigen at all, but I noticed Lupin immediately sounded very different. I'm like, oh, that's weird. But the Japanese voice actors were changed.
Well, that's my point.
So the English voice actors must have been changed too, because Lupin didn't sound the same at all.
My question was, because Lupin sounded like it could have been still Lupin, that same voice actor.
Maybe. I didn't. I thought he was completely different.
It did sound a little off, but I was wondering, because if they didn't change...
Probably could have looked that up, but I already clicked off.
Yeah, so. But did they change... all the other voice actors because they changed all the other Japanese voice actors?
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they were busy with something else. Maybe the guy died. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But like we said, the English cast didn't start doing it into the 2000s. Mm-hmm. So it's very possible they could have had who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, so this movie's pretty straightforward. I think out of all the Lupin movies, this one was very straightforward.
And this one was the shortest and the easiest to get through because it was in and out.
Yeah, it was also boring.
It was a little boring.
It was the most boring. But easy to get through because it's in and out. Easy to follow, less, weirdness happening. But also the most boring and generic, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
So far.
But you know what it is? Because it's about Goemon.
And he's a pretty
dull character.
Bland.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So Goemon's getting married to some Japanese girl.
Murasaki, I think her name was.
And their family has a treasure.
Yeah.
And as they're about to be married, I don't know if were they on this altar? I can't remember.
Yeah, they were on the altar.
There's some sort of tradition with this special vase, and a bunch of ninja dudes show up to try and steal it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain shows up.
with armor and jetpacks. They show up, start fighting people, they steal the vase, or they attempt to steal the vase. They end up leaving with his girlfriend.
It me, or did the art feel like the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon?
Yeah. It felt more like a 90s American cartoon than a Japanese animation.
Right. Because the bad guys did look like they were right out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And although they're all drawled the same, like you obviously know who Lupin is, but it just felt like a different studio.
Yeah,
I don't know, it was weird.
I wasn't knocking the art. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
For 1980, what did you say?
87.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
No, so, I mean, but it just felt like, because Turtles came out around 89 and stuff like that, so it just felt like that time period. But it was, like I said, it wasn't bad. So, yeah.
So, they attempt to steal a vase, that doesn't work out, so they steal Goemon's fiancée.
Mm-hmm. And then Lupin...
And they literally fly off of there.
And then Goyama, the grandfather of the girl who's kidnapped, refuses to give up the urn because treasure's more important than his granddaughter. Yeah, and that makes sense to me, but whatever.
I mean, I guess the culture, especially back then, of women aren't important, especially in those Asian countries.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere. But 87, we're a little more far along with,
women's
rights.
Yeah, a little bit, but still, it was still a little weird to me. But Lupin steals the vase and is gonna, him and the crew go and
try to save her. They do, and then they try to figure out the treasure.
They try to double cross the bad guys and stuff like that. But one of the main antagonists is the racial stereotypes, but he's also a cop who recruits Senegatic, who apparently became a monk because at some point, I guess Lupin blew himself up and faked his death.
Maybe that was the one movie. Remember? He faked his death.
At the end of one movie?
In the beginning of the one movie. Remember, he was dead.
Yeah, but this is 4 movies.
I know. I'm just saying.
But I'm just thinking maybe...
I don't know. Maybe the timeline's weird.
Or maybe at the end of one of the series...
that could be it.
He blew himself up and Zenigata thinks he's dead, but...
Or, I don't know if they're that cohesive with the story for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
I'll bring this in. This is a big criticism I have for it, but it's kind of hard to be too critical about it. Nothing ever changes.
Yeah,
no one's relationship, no one ever changes. It's always the same. Lupin's always going to want Fujiko. He's never going to get her. They're always going to want money. They never get it. It's always going to be the same trope over and over and over again. So, they could start a movie where the detective was a monk.
Well, yeah,
but that doesn't matter. Like, the actual story of that doesn't matter. You just assume that happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But it's also the premise of the show.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, could it be tied into something else? Maybe, but I doubt it with this kind of show.
You're right. It could definitely, because they did show you Lupin, being blown up at one point, and then I did find it funny that Zenigata just quit being a cop and became a monk afterwards, so...
Well, they also, at one point, he gave up his position and said he would just use his own money to track down Lupin.
Oh, yeah,
but he's still a cop. So it's like, again, none of it really changes. You just assume he got his job back, Well, he didn't get his job back. They just kind of... The people here, like, we need you to help track down Lupin, but then he took control of everything, so you're right. Yeah, as he normally does.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so they get the girl back, but they lose the urn, and so the bad guys are going to get the urn. I don't know, the bad guys are called the Fuma clan, and I know that they're in the anime, too.
I would assume.
Like, but
I don't know.
This is after that.
Oh, okay.
So they introduced them here as if they were never in the anime, so that...
Well, also you have to introduce it in that way, because, like, a lot of people are going to watch the movie, but not watch the anime.
No, I know. I'm just saying, so it doesn't connect continuity-wise to the anime. I just want to point out, it feels like there's 2 different worlds happening.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Most animes and anime movies, that's how it usually is. Like, all the Dragon Ball Z movies aren't canon except for the Super ones.
Oh,
like,
right,
all the
right.
Naruto movies aren't canon. Like, that's very typical.
Yeah, no. So... But yeah, so they go and get the, Lupin's after the treasure. Goemon's trying to stop the bad guys from getting the treasure because he splits off with his fiancée. And Lupin and Jigen go after the treasure with Fujiko, and then the bad guys go, and then it all pretty much ends up in a cave?
Underground cave, that's where the gold is, the family treasure.
Yeah, and it's trapped, and it's pretty much them going down to... the bottom of it, defeating the bad guys, getting out, of course, losing all the treasure.
Yeah, the cave-in happens, lose all the treasure, and then they escape. And I have not trained enough. I must continue my training before I can marry you.
Yep, go your mind.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing, is, like, nothing ever changes, and it's hard to be particularly hard on this one anime about it, but, man, it's just boring. I want plot. I want things to move further in a story. I know the next 10 Lupin movies, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, you're right. Nothing's not going to change. It's pretty much basically that caper.
It just felt more prominent in this one, because this one was a little more bland.
Because it was Goemon, and I think the whole Japanese wedding thing and the love story was kind of...
Yeah. I think, was there any supernatural stuff in this one? I don't think there was.
No, but they did...
Which is new, right?
They did have the hallucinogenics trap.
Yeah, whatever.
Where they made people faces melt off and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then they did...
took too much
they did have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with jetpacks, so...
Yeah, but that's not... Okay.
So, but it felt like...
You know, a lot of... The History of Trunks movie for Dragon Ball Z is a TV special. It's not a movie. So, like, some of them feel like movies, but they're not. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it did feel like an extended episode. So, maybe it was. It doesn't matter.
You mash 2 or 3 episodes together and you just make one big overarching plot. That's kind of what it felt like.
It didn't matter. It was next on the list, so that's what we covered.
Yeah, guys, it was very bland. I'll tell you.
Yeah. We had to cover it because Shawn forgot to watch the other anime.
The other ones are better.
The other one we were supposed to do, yeah. Oh, yeah, the other movies were definitely better.
Yeah, any of them are better. This is probably the bottom of the list just because it's bland.
Yeah, bland. But like you said, it's only an hour long, so it's like, it wasn't a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't hard to watch.
Yeah, it's a Lupin movie.
Yeah. Alright, I don't feel like ranking this one because I forget the other ones.
Well, it doesn't matter. We already said it's at the
this
bottom.
One's the last. So take the last ranking and just put this one at the last.
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
Alright, guys. Next episode
is going to be Domestic Girlfriend because Shawn decided to choose Death Note during D.
Yeah.
And then
after we spun.
Because he didn't like what we were going to get and he really wanted to watch that stupid Death Note anime.
Alright, guys. Next episode.
Bye.
Bye.